UFC 242 this weekend, live from Abu Dhabi in United Arab Emirates. We're here with Dan the Hammer Hooker to break down the card. Early prelims, 2 a.m. start.
Are you serious?
I'm not saying it to make conversation.
I'm not getting up for that.
Anyway, let's go through the card. Kicking off the prelims is South African Don Madge versus the Frenchman Faraz Ziam.
Yeah, so I followed Don's career for a little bit. He's fought my mate, so a guy named Leon Meinhardt. I used to train with in Thailand when I first went over there. And Don's record is 8-3, and then all 3 losses are to my friend Leon. So Leon's got his number a bit there, but he's the EFC champion. So if you don't know the EFC, it's the biggest show in South Africa, and it's been there for a very long time. And they actually have a very strong MMA scene in South Africa. There's a few guys that have kind of coming through, but I think Don's like kind of leading that new generation from the South African side coming through. So I'm excited to see what he can do. He had his UFC debut. He won that head kick knockout, and he was very classy in that fight. Ziam, the kid he's fighting, is a last-minute replacement. He's on a 5-fight win streak, but not really against any decent competition, and it's yet to prove himself as like true UFC caliber. So it's a pretty tough start, and I think he gets knocked out in this one. I got Don Madge by KO.
Yeah. The handicappers have put it that as well. Don Madge 147, Ziam 253. The odds for the KOs will be up closer to the fight, I suggest. So, moving on to the middleweights. Omari Akhmedov versus Zach Cummings. Akhmedov's 18-4, 6 wins, 3 losses, and 1 draw. Zach Cummings, the Ultimate Finale season 17 alumni.
Yep. Akhmedov, I actually trained with him. So in my trip, I trained with a lot of these guys that are on this card. A lot of the Russian guys that I first when I went over in 2012 to Tiger Muay Thai. Akhmedov, Tahugov, Taisumov, like they were all training there. So I got this is all before they were in the UFC. I believe Akhmedov was there, and he was fighting at welterweight at the time when he had like pretty mixed results, and then he moved up to middleweight. He's been doing pretty well. 3 wins from his last 4 and 1 draw against Marvin Vettori, who we all know he's fought Israel. So tough competition. Zach Cummings, he's a dangerous guy on the ground. He's on a 2-fight win streak, but I've got Akhmedov with the wrestling advantage there. I just don't feel like Zach can drag Akhmedov to the ground, and Akhmedov has shown pretty improved striking, and I give him the boxing advantage of the 2. I think he's just a little tighter on the feet, and I think he defends the takedown and edges it on the feet, so I'm going Akhmedov by decision.
Yeah, the odds reflect that as well. So 176 for Akhmedov and 197 for Zach Cummings. Moving up next, we got the welterweights. Canadia's Nordin Talib fighting at a TriStar, and the Russian Muslim Shlakmedov, the king of kung fu.
The king of kung fu. Yeah, he's got a bunch of spinning heel kick knockouts on his record. It's pretty crazy when you go back and watch him fight. But yeah, he likes the big shot, like the big spinning attack or the big punch, and he tries to get guys out of there. He doesn't throw a lot of set-up shots. Like he's breaking a guy down and jabbing and finding his range and finding his timing are not big on his priority list. He just tries to blow the guy out of the water. Nordin, I know, he's trains at TriStar, but he also cross-trains at Tiger Muay Thai in Thailand. So I've trained with him at Tiger Muay Thai. So I'm back with my boy Nordin. I feel like he's classier on the feet. He's just a bit more technical. He's got a good jab, good low kick. I feel like he just moves and breaks the Russian down from the outside. And I feel like he'll cruise to a decision. I don't think he's silly enough to get hit by anything crazy, like a big spinning heel kick or a big overhand. I think technically he's got the advantage there, and he can avoid that big one shot. And yeah, I got Nordin cruising to a decision.
Yeah, and the odd makes it 178 for Talib and 195 for the king of kung fu. The main fight in the early prelims, Bala Muhammad, remember the name, versus Takashi Sato from Japan. So Sato has made his debut against Ben Saunders earlier this year in April. Won by TKO elbows and knees, but this is certainly a step up in class from him, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a big step up in class. So Sato was challenger for the Pancrase Championship, which is the biggest show in Japan, and is a big name in Japan. But he's wild. Like he's everything he throws is hard. Like he's a very explosive guy. Whereas Bilal Muhammad, I like the way he fights. He's a workhorse. He's like a workman. Like very classy boxing, very tight boxing, but his wrestling, he's going to have a massive wrestling advantage against Sato in this fight, and that will just really allow him to dictate where the fight takes place. I feel like Bilal's boxing and his defense especially is far too tight to get hit by anything crazy from Sato, and the wrestling advantage is too much for him to overcome. I got Muhammad cruising to a decision, pretty dominant in this fight. I'm pretty certain on this one.
Yeah, the odds reflect that as well. So they've got Bilal Muhammad at 125 and Takashi Sato at 370. So